You may not realize it when you're playing TF2, but health and ammo quantity, size, and placement all have a huge effect on the gameplay and flow of a map. You could create an amazing layout, but without adequate health and ammo placement, the whole thing will be a frustrating mess for your players. A health pack can be made by creating a new entity and typing in health in the properties window. From here you can select small, medium, or full health. A small health pack heals roughly 1/5 of the player's health, a medium health pack heals half, and a full health pack heals a player back to full. Note that this means a health pack is actually worth more HP to say a heavy versus a scout. An ammo pack can be made by creating a new entity and typing in ammo in the properties window. Again, from here you can select small, medium, or full. A small ammo pack gives players 1/5 of each weapon's ammo capacity and 40 metal to an engineer. A medium ammo pack gives half ammo to each weapon and 100 metal, and a full ammo pack gives full ammo and 200 metal. Typically, most mappers place their health and ammo just off the ground a bit, between 4 and 16 hammer units. This is more just a visual thing and isn't really vital to any of the utility of the pack. Personally, I just eyeball it. Under the health pack, it's important to place an overlay showing that something is going to spawn there. This way a player can easily identify that a health or ammo pack is going to spawn there if they happen to walk by after it's been taken. This makes your map a bit easier to use for players new to it, which is always a good thing. You can find these patches by searching patch in the texture browser. As for which color to place under which type, let's look at some Valve maps to see what standard they use. Okay. Yeah, so there really isn't any standard for this. I personally tend to use red for ammo and blue for health, but an argument could be made that things have started leaning towards white under health and red or team colored based on what territory you're in under ammo. But really, no one is going to give you crap for this. I'd just try to be internally consistent on your map with the colors you choose, make it visually pleasing, and stand out enough to let players know that there's a spawn there. The amount of health and ammo you place on your map also has a really big impact. Too much health and players will be harder to kill, leading to frustrating gameplay. Too little health and players will also get frustrated because they're too reliant on medics and dispensers. This can lead to less risky pushes and more stalematey, boring gameplay. Too much ammo and spies can keep a constant cloak up, or quickly refresh their dead ringer after popping it, or engineers can build more often and faster. You know that annoying mini-sentry engineer who just seems to constantly have one up despite them being destroyed back to back? He found a good spot to pick up ammo consistently for that. Don't enable that jerk. Too little ammo, and not only are spies and engineers having a bad time, but every other class will end up having a hard time keeping their weapons full, and it'll again slow down combat and frustrate your players. Placement is another huge aspect of your packs. Combat tends to revolve around health packs. Players will often try to get the upper hand in a fight by being closer to a health pack than the person they're fighting. For some examples, think about the combat that happens around this medium pack on Badlands, or this medium pack on Granary, or this pack on Hightower, or these small packs on Upward, this medium pack on Upward, or this full pack on Upward. Man, Upward has some good health placement. Be sure to consider objective placement when placing your packs as well. A ton of health and ammo right around a King of the Hill point will make it easier to defend once it's captured. If you look at a map like Viaduct, the health packs are actually placed further away from the point, forcing defenders to fall back if they take enough damage, and boosting up attackers as they make their push in. Yet another factor to consider with your pack placement is soldiers and demos jumping around your map. These classes will be able to get to places faster if you have more health for them to pick up on the way there. This can be a pretty big deal when you start factoring in map rollouts, but it's personally not something I try to overthink too much until I see the map actually getting played. If placed right, you can even direct players into areas they wouldn't normally want to go to with something really attractive to them like a big fat health pack. Trainsaw Laser is actually a map I played around with this a lot. Besides the obvious examples of me being a jerk and placing packs next to hazards for my own personal amusement, my favorite example of packs drawing in players is this room here. The pumpkin bombs were placed in this room far before the health and ammo packs were. In testing, absolutely nobody entered it because they had no reason to. It was hazardous and there were other options not that far away. So I decided to lure them in with a full health and a full ammo right in the middle of it. Immediately, testing showed players not only entering this room a ton more to grab the packs, but using those packs to bait other players into the pumpkin bomb hazards. An area that had absolutely no use at all turned into an extremely hotly contested zone just based on my pack placement. But conversely, this also means that putting a health pack somewhere far away from where combat tends to be usually isn't that great of an idea. For the life of me, I've never really understood this health pack back here on Badwater. It's big enough to draw players to it, but it's really far away from combat. This area is just pretty rarely fought in, and there isn't much of a strategic advantage or disadvantage to being here besides the pack. It's just completely out of place with the flow of the rest of the map, and it's my example of a really poorly placed health pack. Ammo placement has a big impact on where engineers end up building. You can make a pretty weak sentry spot much stronger by slapping some ammo close by to it. Conversely, a strong sentry spot can be weakened by pushing ammo further away, making the engineer more reliant on his dispenser, or making them have to travel further to get the metal they need to build, possibly exposing themselves to enemy fire. And in the same vein, you should keep spawn rooms in mind with your placement. You generally don't need a bunch of health and ammo just outside the spawn door unless you're trying to make that area really defendable. This very common and strong sentry spot and upward doesn't even have an ammo pack anywhere near it because it's only a short run away from a resupply cabinet. Finding a balance of quantity and location of packs can make a huge impact on your map. Don't be afraid to experiment with it and try something different when you test. As always, iteration is extremely important, as with all aspects of your map development. Find which pickups are working and which aren't. For me, health and ammo placement is always a part that is in near constant flux throughout a map's development cycle. Luckily, it's also one of the few aspects of your map that is extremely easy to change around.